would say, but what I did was give all credit to Jean. And he was so glad I did that because people just didn't give her enough credit. Because Jean was sort of a outspoken individual. But Mother, she loved my mother and my mother loved her. They were very close to each other. And I remember when they had telephone line installed finally into there, and they had a little connecting line between our house and over at Buck's house. And I got up one day and here was Mother chattering away on the phone. And I said, Mother, who were you talking to? I was talking to Jean. I said, but she was here last night. But that showed you the kind of a relationship did. And Jean wrote Mother every single week. Every single week Jean wrote to Mother. Once in a while I'd write to Mother, but not like that. She was a very faithful girl. That was probably the strongest point about her. She was very faithful. And another thing, Buck, I was looking through the various magazines that you had publications, and one of them I can't find. I don't know where it is. It's the Montana magazine that talked about Jean living out in the drylands flat and getting lost in the blizzard and keep struggling on and on until finally she achieved it. I don't know what magazine it is or what the story was, or I could write to Montana magazine and get it. I have 2 Montana magazines that you had publications in, and one magazine that belonged to the women of the church. I have those, and one for the scouting magazine too. I have all those magazines, but the one I really want is the one that Mother, when Mother would hear it, she would get so upset to think that poor little girl had to go out in that freezing weather and nobody could take care of her. She almost got lost. She wanted to lie down and she had to keep going. Mother was so exasperated with that article. To think anybody would do that to that little girl.
Okay, well, we don't have much more time because I've still got to get ready to go. What else do you want to ask him about?
Well, I need to ask him about that other person in his life, Daddy B. Daddy B, who was married to Margaret. Daddy B was a guy who had a great sense of humor, and Margaret didn't. Margaret was very straightforward. But she was a nice lady, but she didn't stand for any nonsense. But Daddy B always he was always funny. He always kind of stirred people up a little bit. And he also played the violin. And speaking of violin, I gave Margaret Uncle Joe's violin. So she has it. I don't know whether she still has it or not, or if she even plays it. So anyway, that pretty much covers the basic parts of what I'm interested in. And I know that when he came back from the service, he was supposed to work in the sawmill, but Daddy said he couldn't start working in the sawmill until he got over being in love. Well, Buck was very absent-minded. I remember one time he was standing pouring water, filling a pail at the sink, and the water kept running over and over until finally it was running over, and Jean says, Buck, turn the water off, it's full. And that was Buck. Just absent-minded.
Okay, well, that's enough material to get him to tell some stories. I don't think it'll be too hard to get him to tell stories.
No, it won't.
All right. That's all. I have to go